Insurance agent Maxim is racing to work while talking to a client on the phone. In his hurry, he drops his things and ignores calls from his mom. At the office, he remembers he forgot about tonight's company bowling event and the accountant's birthday. His girlfriend, Sasha, shows up to remind him it's also their anniversary. Trying to cover his mistake, Maxim claims he planned a bowling night with his coworkers. Sasha sees through this, so he explains he's been overloaded with work. Despite this, she insists they go to their special spot for a picnic, showing him the picnic basket she already prepared. Realizing he forgot, Maxim apologizes and promises to take the week off for her. Happy with his offer, Sasha waits outside as he heads to his boss's office. Maxim then witnesses the deputy manager quitting and decides to avoid his boss, who's in a foul mood. However, his boss calls him in and offers the newly available position. Eager for the promotion, Maxim accepts, and his boss piles more paperwork on his desk. When Maxim asks if he can finish by Monday, his boss insists he work immediately, hinting that Sasha would prefer a successful man over someone with no ambition. Cornered, Maxim agrees to finish the tasks today. Spotting the accountant leaving, he sneaks a birthday gift from her desk and gives it to Sasha to appease her. But when she opens it and realizes it's a personalized item for the accountant, she sarcastically thanks him. Just then, a cab arrives, and Sasha guides Maxim into the car. During the drive, Maxim tries to convince Sasha to make the picnic quick. Sasha, however, is fed up with him not making time for her. Frustrated, he uses his boss's argument, asking if she'd rather be with a rich man or a beggar. She replies that she simply wants him. Moved, Maxim agrees to give her the day and asks the driver, Tamara, to hurry. Amused, Tamara asks the occasion, and Sasha explains it's their 5th anniversary. Tamara suggests making their wedding anniversary special, but Sasha reveals they aren't married. Before Tamara can respond, Maxim notices smoke from the car and helps her fix it. As they work on the engine, Tamara asks why he prioritizes work over being with Sasha. Maxim claims he's building their future, but Tamara compares him to an ant dying alone in a mound. He argues that planning for the future is necessary, but Tamara insists that only the present matters. Back on the road, she jokingly hints that Maxim is about to propose, and Sasha excitedly accepts. They finally reach their destination, but as a playful retaliation, Maxim leaves Tamara a 1-star review. Furious, she honks her horn as Maxim's sister Natasha and her husband appear, pulling him into a van to change into a suit. Confused, Maxim is led to a wedding venue, where his boss and other guests are already gathered. His boss reminds him he's on leave, so he doesn't need to worry about work. At the altar, Maxim is surprised to see his mother attempting to put his father's tie on him, but Natasha refuses since their parents are divorced. Sasha walks down the aisle, and though puzzled, Maxim praises his bride and kisses her. Suddenly, Maxim finds himself alone on a beach, wearing a wedding ring and seeing a pregnant Sasha. Panicked, he splashes water on his face, hoping to wake up. When that fails, he pokes Sasha's belly and asks what happened to their wedding. Assuming he's unwell, she takes him home. Arriving there, Maxim follows her into the house, confused about both the wedding and her pregnancy. But to his shock, Sasha is suddenly not pregnant and is preparing breakfast with a toddler seated nearby. Startled, Maxim asks about the child, but Sasha tells him not to cause drama on their anniversary. When their son starts crying, Sasha soothes him, and Maxim, left alone, glances around to see photos of him with his family, including one of him holding their son. Maxim, feeling disoriented, calls his sister Natasha and asks her to meet him. He gets into a car he doesn't remember owning and drives to the hospital. While on his way, he rejects a call from his mother and fails to notice his car and clothes changing until he steps out. Maxim then heads into Natasha's office and interrupts her with concerns about strange memory lapses, as if he's lost years of his life, including memories of having a child with Sasha. Dismissing his worries, Natasha sees a young patient who innocently explains that children are born out of love. Natasha comments that Maxim only loves himself. Her patient, trying to be helpful, mentions his mom often says things happen because people hurry too much. Natasha suggests Maxim consult with her new husband, a neurologist, surprising him as he recalls her ex-husband Vitcho was a car mechanic. Natasha explains that she's since remarried. The neurologist reviews Maxim's scans but finds nothing unusual, recommending he spend time relaxing with family. Natasha also urges him to visit their mother. Glancing at a calendar, Maxim realizes that 4 years have passed since he last remembers, prompting him to spiral into frustration. As he turns around, he notices Natasha and her husband have vanished, and the calendar now shows another year has gone by. He can only scream in frustration. Back home, he surprises Sasha, who's baking cupcakes, and tells her he thinks he's skipping parts of his life. Sasha reassures him, saying it's likely because he only ever works, and suggests he's just overworked. Now that her cupcake business is thriving, she believes he can take a break. Reminiscing, she mentions how they haven't had time together in a while, which inspires Maxim to reconnect with her. However, as he starts taking off his shirt, he experiences another time jump. This time he finds himself shirtless in front of Sasha's clients, who are staring at him. Embarrassed, Sasha leads him outside, annoyed at his behavior. She reminds him that he's supposed to be watching their son Stopa, and asks where he is. Maxim, clueless, rushes to the playground in a frantic search. After rejecting another call from his mother, he spots a boy staring at him and assumes it's his son, only for a different child to run over, revealing the real Stopa. He releases the other boy, picks up Stopa, and heads home. While carrying him on his shoulders, Stopa's playful antics initially annoy Maxim, but hearing his son call him Dad suddenly lifts his spirits. They bond briefly before another time jump happens, leaving Maxim back in the yard, frustrated. Sasha finds him and tells him not to feel pressure to attend Stopa's concert if he doesn't want to. Maxim reassures her he'll be there, but just then his boss calls about an urgent contract. With little choice, he tells Sasha he has to leave, and she resignedly exits the car. On his way to work, Maxim calls Stopa, promising that he's working for their family's future. When his boss calls, he switches to that call briefly, only to find Stopa has hung up by the time he returns. Another time skip occurs, placing him in an even more luxurious car with an auto-drive feature. He instructs it to take him home, where he arrives at a far more extravagant house, but finds it empty, with no sign of Sasha or Stopa. Maxim tries calling Sasha and Stopa, but gets no answer, so he contacts Natasha, asking her to visit him exactly 1 year later to the minute and promising her a new TV in return. Suddenly, time skips forward, and Natasha arrives with a new partner. Maxim, anxious, asks about Sasha, but before she can answer, a casually dressed woman comes downstairs, fixes breakfast, and sits in the living room. Shocked, Maxim asks Natasha who this woman is, and she explains that she's his new girlfriend. Taken aback, Maxim realizes he must have divorced Sasha. Determined to fix things, he hastily packs a bag and heads out to find his family. He hails a cab, which turns out to be driven by Tamara. On the way, he accuses her of cursing him because of his 1-star review. She laughs, claiming she actually gave him a wedding present, while he blames her for the collapse of his family. Tamara reminds him that he created his own problems and insists he must solve them himself. She urges him to stop rushing and live in the moment. Frustrated, he threatens her, but she calmly points out they've arrived at Sasha's home. Maxim sees his son Stopa coming home from playing with friends, watching as Sasha and Stopa happily go inside. Wondering aloud if Sasha still loves him, he turns to Tamara, only to find himself in a different car with a personal driver who answers that Maxim must still love her, as he has his driver stop by her house daily. Maxim decides to take a chance, exits the car, and heads up to the house. When Sasha answers the door, he asks her to pack and come back with him, even moving some of their clothes into his car. He confesses that his experience has shown him that he's only happy when he's with her. But Sasha, unmoved, replies that he no longer makes her happy and takes her belongings back. In a last-ditch effort, Maxim vows he'll change, even calling his boss to quit, only for Sasha to remind him that his boss died years ago, which is how he ended up with his current position. As she steps back into the house, a grown Stopa sees them and smiles, thinking his parents will reconcile. Sasha, however, rebuffs Maxim, saying she's used to his empty promises. Desperate, Maxim asks if she still loves him, but she says nothing and walks back inside. Realizing time is slipping away, he tells his driver to book him guitar lessons, and 1 year from now, to return to this spot with a bouquet, musicians, a suit, and a guitar. Time jumps forward, and Maxim finds himself back, but he's terrible at the guitar. His driver explains he never made time for lessons, so Maxim swaps the guitar for maracas. He starts performing in front of Sasha's house with the band, only for another man to appear and declare that Sasha doesn't want to see him. Realizing this is Sasha's new partner, Maxim shoves him, and the man punches him in return. When Maxim regains consciousness, he finds Sasha and her boyfriend tending to him, but Sasha demands he leave her alone. Her boyfriend warns Maxim that he plans to marry Sasha, which sends Maxim into a rage. Another time skip occurs mid-fight, but Maxim is determined to confront his rival, grabbing a circular saw in his fury, only to discover that a different family now lives in Sasha's house. Lost and defeated, Maxim returns home. There he finds Natasha, drinking heavily in the kitchen. The two siblings reflect on their mistakes. Natasha regrets leaving her first husband, Vitya, who truly loved her. She left him only because he was a mechanic while she was a doctor, and now she's left with no home, no family, and no happiness in her personal life. In the end, Natasha expresses relief that their mother never saw her in this state. Surprised, Maxim asks about her, and Natasha reminds him their mother passed away last year. Overwhelmed, Maxim realizes he'll never have the chance to speak to her again, having ignored her calls for years. Natasha reassures him, noting their mother would have appreciated the grand funeral he arranged. Saddened, Maxim still clings to his wealth as a minor consolation, and the siblings agree to drink together every year, dubbing it their annual sad day. As time continues to skip, they share these drunken reunions until one day, Maxim finds himself alone, realizing Natasha has also passed away. Now completely isolated, he goes to the beach, spending several time skips there, waking up only in his senior years. One day he receives a call from Stopa, who tells him they need to close a contract in 30 minutes. Instead of heading to the office, Maxim goes to the nursing home where Sasha now lives. However, he's not on her approved list of visitors, so he's denied entry. Determined, Maxim swaps his watch for a patient's clothes and disguises himself to gain access. Finally, he reunites with Sasha, apologizing for not appreciating her and confessing that she's the most important part of his life. With only seconds left, he asks her to hold him, and this time, the clock hits 10 with no time skip. Relieved, Maxim realizes he's broken the curse. He takes Sasha out of the nursing home, planning to make up for lost time. Spotting Tamara's taxi, he discards his phone, ignoring the call, and gets in the car with Sasha. To his surprise, Tamara hasn't aged a day. As Tamara adjusts the rearview mirror, Maxim suddenly finds himself transported back to the day Sasha first asked him to go on a picnic. Without hesitation, he proposes to her, and she happily says yes. Overjoyed, he kisses her and even kisses Tamara's hand in gratitude before asking her to drive them to their favorite spot. Along the way, he makes a call to Natasha, inviting her to join them for a celebration. When Sasha asks what's going on, Maxim simply replies that he doesn't want to waste time anymore. Hearing this, Tamara reminds him with a smile to update his rating to 5 stars. Subscribe for more stories like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.